All right, we're playing around with some lossless scaling. I have my YAML frame rate capped at 60. We'll see if we even hit that.
Reactor online.
I'm using 3x frame
Sensors
generation.
online. Weapons online.
This
All systems nominal.
I'm gonna turn. Isn't there a way to change it to daytime? Okay. I actually want to be able to see what I'm seeing. Does that do anything? No. Unbound settings. If checked, there will be no checking. Alright. So I had this setting, you know, on the menu, and when my frame rate was at 60 natively, even though I'm using 3x frame generation, it wasn't going over 144, which is what we want because my monitor's refresh rate is 144, which I have set to. I did turn FreeSync on in the A and D, you know, application, and I left the G-Sync button turned off on lossless scaling. To me, that seemed to make the most sense. So we'll see how things go once we start getting some lasers and explosions flowing around here.
Targeting.
And then because I did my magic tricks with OBS, you can actually see, you should be able to see, at least theoretically, on the top left corner, what my frames are doing. So even though I was only about, a moment ago I was only getting 40 frames, it's actually more like 20. Yeah, it's like, it's chugging along. Oh, by the way, this is 4K resolution, I forgot to mention that. So we're dipping down to 30 frames here and there, but I mean, it's not actually looking like 30 frames to me, it's looking like 120. 90. It's looking real good.
Missile launch detected.
I'm gonna shut up and just focus on the game for a minute. I don't want to pay attention to any stutters or lagging or shit going on that I'm just not noticing because I'm talking too much. See what happens when we get up and close with this guy. Punch his ass. Wow, this is smoother than it's ever felt. This is amazing. Oh! Oh, got to override. Playing around with the Mechwarrior 3 Betty because, I don't know, just want to try something different, and I like how I really have a soft spot for the Mechwarrior 2 Betty, but I want to, is that it? I like the Mechwarrior 3 because she's very succinct, you know? Says things very quickly.
Shutdown sequence overridden.
Very clear. It's very efficient. It feels like honestly better, but I do love the style of the Mechwarrior 2 Betty a lot. So we'll keep this video short. I just wanted to do a quick demo on lossless scaling, and this is really something that I think would help out a lot of people. Even if, you know, I'm running on a 7900 XTX right now, which obviously is a god-tier GPU, but I think even folks running on you know, mid-range, even budget GPUs can get a lot of benefit out of this, and on lower resolution as well. Just to get, you know, I think it would help anybody to get their frames up. So pull up lossless. So you should be seeing this as I am. So this is the settings I'm using. You know, you can create different profiles for different games. I'm using my Mechwarrior 5. I'm not doing any scaling, so I just leave this auto and have that off. You want to use the latest, which right now is number 3.0. I like 3x, x3. I think that's kind of the sweet spot, but basically 2x is going to double your whatever frames you're normally generating. It's going to double your frames. So hey, why not double your frames? Hey, if you're going to double your frames, why not triple your frames? This setting here is a performance setting. So if you know, if your GPU is struggling and you're getting a lot of artifacts on the screen, you could lower this down. So it's a little complicated to explain what this actually does, but just think of it as a performance setting. So, I've seen some people even recommend just putting it at 50%. And you're not going to really notice that much of a difference in quality, but it will help your performance. I've just left it at 100 and I haven't really noticed too many issues with it. I keep all these off. Sync mode. Um, I'm leaving this on default, okay? If you don't want to allow tearing, you could turn that off. So that turns off the screen tearing, or that allows tearing, actually. But the method I'm using, and I've seen some people recommend turning that off. But anyway, the method I'm using, I'm trying to use FreeSync here. And anyway, God, I'm getting distracted. Max frame latency, I've seen different comments on this as well. One is going to be, how would I say this? The best, or you're going to get the most quality on one. But if you want to get more performance, you could lower it down to 2 or 3. I saw a lot of people say 3 is recommended for AMD and 2 is recommended for NVIDIA GPUs. I was just kind of experimenting. I should try it at 3 later and see if I notice a difference. But anyway, I just put it back to 1, and that seemed to run just fine. Obviously, if you have a G-Sync monitor, you can turn this on. And these are some of the settings I was just trying to do research today and get some information on. And I don't know, I'm still very confused about a lot of this stuff. But because I saw one comment saying that if you have this turned on here, but then you have G-Sync turned on in your NVIDIA settings, that it's kind of like doubling up on the G-Sync and causes problems. I don't know if any of that's actually true. But like I said, my method was to turn this off here and to turn FreeSync on in my AMD control panel. You want to draw FPS. This is what actually shows you that number on the top left corner, showing you what your frames is actually doing. And then generally you want to leave this on that. I think somebody was saying, or somewhere I said, if you have Windows 11, you could try this one. You could do your own research on that, but I'm leaving it on this for me because I'm still Windows 10. And this would be more like if you had like multiple GPUs, you could choose which GPU, or if you were doing multiple monitors, you could also do that as well. And then there's basically just a control hotkey when you're in game. I think default is Control Alt S will turn it on. Or if I had my game running right now, I could click scale and then click over to the game, and it gives you like a 5-second timer to click over or Alt Tab into the game. And then if I was in the game, that would start the scaling and you would see those numbers on the top left. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go into my, give me one moment here. It doesn't matter. So let's turn lossless off. I'm going to go back into lossless. And I think this is what, now if I turn that to off, and then I scale and then go back into it, I'm going to bet that that's going to go over 144. Boom, there it is. Okay, so that's the setting. Okay, so what I was doing before, I'm sorry, I can't handle this. There we go. Yeah. What I was doing before was I was just capping my in-game frame rate through the YAML options to 40. And then I was doing XXX scaling to get to 120 frame rate. That's kind of what I was doing. But you can actually, it's probably a better method to do this. If you've got extra frames to spare, set that to default. I mean, I'm going to experiment turning this on too and seeing if it's any better. But anyway, to finish my thought, set that to default. And then you can cap your FPS in YAML options a little higher. So I put it at 60, and now 60 times 3, that would go up to 180, but because I have that setting set to default, it's going to cap it at 144. So you never want to go over, you never want to be generating more frames than your monitor can actually deal with, because you're just being wasteful at that point, and it's probably not going to look as good either. So that's my really long-winded and scattered tutorial, but hopefully that made sense. And then just to show you here, yet another mech lab performance. I've got this limit FPS capped at 60 in game.